you know what? Sometimes you just don't learn. And for some reason, I just haven't learned my lesson. When it comes to the Chicago Bears, stop having faith, stop believing, stop thinking that they have a chance. I know better. I know this. And yet, I persist. Oh, there's no way the Saints are going to come into Soldier Field and win. The Bears have had 2 weeks to prepare. You're coming off an embarrassing loss in London. They'll be fired up and ready to go. They got Mitch back. They got Taylor Gabriel back. They got Bilal Nichols back. It's going to be all good. The Saints still don't have Drew Brees. They don't have Alvin Kamara. They don't have Derek Cook. They're a depleted team. There's just no way. There's just no chance. And then the game happened! How in the hell did that happen? Like, at least you could say with the Oakland game in London, while the Bears were complete and total boo-boo in the first half, at least they forced a turnover in the second half and changed the entire momentum of the game. And they went from being down 17-0 to having to lead late in the fourth quarter. Like, at least there was fight. At least there was a flash. At least, for God's sakes, there was something. There was at least a chance at victory. But no. The Bears eliminated any and all doubt almost immediately Sunday afternoon at Soldier Field against the Saints. This was embarrassing. This was god-awful. And the final score, in no way, shape, or form, is indicative of anything positive dealing with the Chicago Bears team. Nothing. Look at the special teams. You had 2 punts blocked. 2 punts blocked. You had 2 weeks to prepare to get 2 punts blocked. Not 1, 2. 1 for each week you had to prepare. How the hell does the special teams coordinator still have a damn job? In all of the history of the Chicago Bears, out of all the years, we are in season number 100. And Sunday represented the least amount of rushing attempts in a game in the franchise's history. 7 for God's sakes. This goes beyond having an allergy to wanting to attempt to have a balanced offense. This goes from having an allergy against having a good game plan on the offensive side of the ball, Matt Nagy. This just goes into sheer stupidity and suggests that you were in over your damn head as a play caller. And frankly, why in the hell, if we look back, and it is important to look back, you can say hindsight is 20/20, but I think even when he was hired, it was something I at least questioned, called out a little bit. Even though I was supportive of the hiring, because at least it wasn't a lame-ass defensive coordinator, well, shit, the hell's the difference? He had half of a season as a play caller in Kansas City, of which you know, at the end of the day, Andy Reid is the HNIC of all of what you see when it comes to the Chiefs' offense. Even if you want to say the HFAIC, the head fat ass in charge. He ultimately, even if he gives the offensive coordinator label to somebody, and even if he says they're the play caller, Andy Reid is the play caller. And even with his flaws over the years, Andy Reid is vastly significant as a play caller to Matt frickin' Nagy. And what you saw again on Sunday against the Saints just proves it. Like, you look at this offense, and it would be easy to bash on Trubisky the terrible because he sucks, and people give it up. The whole, wait until he has that breakout game. Wait until he balls out. I'm waiting, and I'm going to die waiting for it, okay? It doesn't make you a bad person to admit that Mitchell Trubisky sucks. Ryan Pace got it fucking wrong. The single most important decision that he had as a general manager, and he screwed the goddamn pooch. Can you imagine looking back at that draft 2 years ago and thinking that Trubisky was a better fucking prospect than Patrick Mahomes and than Deshaun Watson? Like, even when I had Watson and Trubisky with similar grades, because I had questions about Watson's accuracy and arm strength, and they were valid based off of what you saw at Clemson. At least you could say at Clemson, he had years of experience playing the position. You could say with Watson that, for God's sakes, the guy played massive against Oklahoma twice in the national championship game. He won a national championship. You could see some of the intangibles, and none of that existed with Trubisky. None of it! But I digress. Complaining about Trubisky is for a different video. The reality is with Trubisky, you saw it again on Sunday. This kid has no confidence. He's shaken. He's terrified. At least when Rex Grossman was all of those things, he would fucking throw it down the field 50 yards every once in a while and try to make a big play happen. He would usually screw up because Sexy Rexy sucked. But goddamn, now defenses are going to be stuffing the box on the Bears. Not to stop the run, but because they know there is absolutely no threat of Trubisky throwing the ball more than 10 yards down the field. He can't do it. The slightest bit of pressure, he folds. He doesn't even run anymore. And this brings me back to Matt Nagy, the freaking play caller. You have a quarterback that clearly sucks. You have a quarterback, more importantly, that is clearly lacking in confidence. He is frightened. He is scared. Now, maybe for his own sake in the second half, he should have freaking been benched. Because this is not a fluke, an aberration. This is a trend. This is a pattern, and it's a disturbing one at that. How in the hell does Mitchell Trubisky look worse in year number 3 under you, Matt Nagy, than he did in year number 1 under John Fox and Kyle Hawkins? How does that happen? How? I tell you how. By only running the ball 7 times in a game. By having no clear strategy on the offense. Like, if you asked Matt Nagy, what are you trying to do on offense? What's your identity? What are your principles? What are you looking to do? What do you want opposing defenses to have to game plan for? The simple answer is, he doesn't fucking know. None of us know, because there's nothing. Trubisky's not running. Like, imagine how stupid you gotta be as a play caller to take away the one thing the guy actually does as a decent to high level entirely from his game. Entirely. The one thing Trubisky can do pretty well is run the damn football and scramble. And you completely take that away from him. Why? Because you want him to be the pocket passer? He's never going to be! And even when you look at the structure of what they do offensively, there's no variety, there's no spice. It's just like you drop Trubisky back 5 steps and you hope to God that he can hold in there for 2.5 seconds so he complete a 5-yard flat pattern. Or maybe throw a back shoulder fade to Allen Robinson. That's about all the arrows in the quiver that he's got in his fucking arsenal. Worst of all, whereas last year, sometimes I would complain about there's no identity and the identity is only the gimmicks. We're not even getting the gimmicks this year. There's no Philly special. There's no anything. Like, literally the next game against the Chargers, the first play of the game should be a fucking halfback option pass by Tariq Cohen, have him rolling out to the right or the left or whatever the hell, and throw the ball 50, 60 yards down the goddamn field. At least then I would know that they're trying something. At least I know they are trying to do something. At least I know there's an acknowledgement that your quarterback stinks. You refuse to establish a running game whatsoever. Your offensive line is still doo-doo bricks. Like, look at this team. I know they're 3-3 still, and it feels like the sky is falling based off of what I'm saying. And last year they were 3-3. The situations last year and this year feel vastly different. Look at the freaking Chicago Bears. The number 1 goal of the program in the offseason, the number 1 goal of the program was to find a kicker. Well, son of a bitch, they found a kicker, and everything else is freaking falling apart. And let's not even get to the defense. You can make the excuses of they're always on the field and this and that, and they're missing Akeem Hicks, and all of that is true. But at some point in time, if you are truly an elite defensive unit, none of that crap matters. For the second straight week, you got your shit pushed in on the ground. First it was Josh Jacobs, and now it's freaking Latavius Murray. I mean, one thing if it was Kamara that was doing it to you, it's freaking Latavius Murray. The second week in a row, you got your shit pushed in on run defense. And then the pass defense. The corner's always playing 10 yards off. Oh, yeah, because that's not going to work out as a freaking disaster. You used to have Walt Harris do that back in the day. That's why we used to call Walt Harris toast. If the defense is elite, then this was a game that they should have played elite against a backup quarterback and an offense that was missing their top option in the running game and their top tight end. And instead, the Bears defense folded. Like even when Cordero Patterson finally did something as a kick return, took one back to the house, it didn't matter because eventually the defense folded. And again, I will emphasize, you can blame the offense and they contribute a lot to this. But the Bears have invested a lot in their defense. If you're going to tell me that the subtraction of one guy, even a guy as good as Akeem Hicks, is going to make that much of a difference, then how much does that speak to how overrated everybody damn else is on this defense? Eddie Jackson, paging Eddie Jackson, where the hell are you? All this talk about Roquan Smith and the superstar he's going to be, I sure as heck would like to see it. And even my boy Khalil Mack. The past couple of games, you've done nothing. I don't care if they're double teaming you. I don't care if they're triple teaming you. I don't care if they got your mama tied up in bondage on the sidelines. You are supposed to be the dude. Act like it and goddamn play like it. In the meantime, I look at the Saints. Without Drew Brees, they've won 5 in a row. I couldn't be happier for Teddy Bridgewater. And all the while, I couldn't be more embarrassed by my pathetic-ass Chicago Bears. What a joke.